What is up, friends? My name is Veronica, and right now I'm going to show you how to play a D or D major chord on guitar. First things first, make sure your guitar is in tune. If you're not sure how to do that, I will link a video right here on how to tune your guitar. Once you're good there, we'll go ahead and jump on in. All right, so quick string review. If you're using numbers to identify the strings, we're going to start with the first string, or string 1, down here at the bottom. String 2 is here, then string 3, 4, 5, and string 6 will be the thickest string. If you're identifying your strings by letter names or note names, we'll start at the top with the E string, A, D, G, B, and E. So Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, if that helps you remember. For D, or D major, we're going to be using the bottom 3 strings, strings 1, 2, and 3, or strings E, B, and G. I'm going to start with my 3rd finger, my ring finger, and I'm going to place it down first on the 3rd fret, B string here. Then my other 2 fingers, finger 1 and finger 2, are going to make this like little sandwich of the B string on the 2nd fret. So I'm going to go on the string below, or string 1, and the string above, or string 3. Now the way that I'm ordering my fingers is, like I mentioned, 3rd finger is on the 2nd string, or the B string. I'm going to put my 1st finger or my pointer finger above that string on the 3rd string or the G string, and then my middle finger comes down on that high E string on the 2nd fret, or string 1. And I mention this because a lot of times my students will want to like do this number, or they'll like, I don't know, they'll do some weird stuff. So I personally find it to be the most comfortable and easy to transition to and from if my pointer finger is above my ring finger and my middle finger is down at the bottom. So just keep that in mind. There's not really a wrong way to order the fingers, but I just find this to be the most common and the most comfortable way for me personally. But play around with it, see what works for you. So all together, I see the shape as kind of like a triangle, right? I'm starting here, going here, up and down. But for me, it is helpful to plant my ring finger down first, and then at the same time plant these other 2 fingers down. And again, I think of that kind of like B string sandwich. I know that's kind of a silly idea, but it's helpful. And then again, you want to curve your fingers over so that I'm not touching any of the other strings. And I know this can be challenging when these strings are so small and close together, it feels like. So I actually use the tip tops of my fingers, and you should too, actually. So you can kind of see this indent where I'm pushing on the strings, right? So you want to make sure your nails are pretty short so they don't get in the way. And then you can get right into that chord without the pads of your fingers accidentally touching other strings. Something else to keep in mind with this chord is that with the D chord or other D family chords, I'm not going to play all 6 strings. I'm actually going to start with the D string, or string 4, which is here, and that's where I'm going to strum down from. I'm going to avoid these top 2 strings, the A and the E strings. I'm going to take those out of the equation, and I'm just starting from D string and only strumming these 4 strings. Other things to keep in mind with this chord, and all chords really, is aside from using the tops of your fingers to push down, aside from making sure you're not touching any of the other strings, you also want to make sure that you are pushing the chord down hard enough to where it's making contact with the fretboard or the wood. So you don't want to be light-handed about these chords. You want to be pushing pretty hard to make sure that you're squeezing the strings into the wood or into the neck. And then you're using your thumb as kind of a clamp, right? It's like you're pushing your thumb into the wood or into the neck, and then you're pushing your fretting fingers also into the neck. So you're just squeezing fingers and thumb towards each other really firmly. So let's go ahead and give that a strum and hear what it sounds like. That is your D or D major chord. Now, if you run into any issues, right, I know that it can be a little tricky not touching any of the other strings on this particular chord. So it takes a little bit of practice figuring out kind of that sweet spot on how to place your fingers. So if you get something that just kind of doesn't sound good at all, then troubleshoot it. Go through one string at a time, right? Starting with your D string, and then if you get kind of a buzzing sound, push your finger down a little harder, make sure you're curved over. Do that with every single string, every single finger. And once it sounds good, give it another strum and you're on your way. So don't give up. I think that's the biggest takeaway from learning anything is don't give up. Be consistent, practice, really, really try to own it, right? And master it. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But otherwise, if this video was helpful, I would really appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button so it's easier to find for other people who are just like you learning to play guitar. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot, and I would love to see you back here more often. So until next time.